Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, we invite those of you who haven't yet done so, to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification icon, to be notified when the next one is uploaded. We enjoy reading all comments, whether positive or negative, because it is very important to ventilate both sides of any issue. All we ask is that you observe the YouTube community guidelines. We have repeatedly shown in previous videos that despite protestations to the contrary, Toto Wolff and Mercedes-AMG F1 are so ticked off about Sir Lewis going off to Ferrari next season that they have been sabotaging, instead of celebrating his final season with them. We recommend those videos to new viewers for a fuller background into this offering. But by way of a brief background for this video, it is widely acknowledged that Mercedes made a disastrous attempt to sabotage Sir Lewis's victory at the Belgian Grand Prix, the last race before the 26-day summer break. Our previous video questioned what Sir Lewis's race engineer Bono knew of the plot to keep him in the dark about his teammate switching to a one-stop strategy. Sadly, most of those who commented believed he knew. This desperate strategy aimed at denying Sir Lewis victory ultimately cost the team and George dearly, as he was disqualified for coming in underweight. That disqualification appears to have tipped Toto Wolff and Mercedes over the edge, as they have since embarked on a concerted campaign to whiten and ghost Sir Lewis, as they begin to purge Mercedes of his considerable presence. By a remarkable irony, which appears to be completely lost to Toto and Mercedes, who, to recall, were the ones who set the standard for celebrating team achievements in the face of individual setbacks, they were unable to reproduce this same energy to celebrate Sir Lewis's victory in the face of George's setback. Remember Abu Dhabi 2021, when Sir Lewis and the rest of the world were reeling from the shock of the outrageous theft of his 8th title? Toto and his crew had no problems putting all that aside, to throw the party to end all parties, to celebrate winning an 8th consecutive Constructors' title, and sending Valtteri off to new pastures. The party was so debauched that Mercedes tried to get the images and videos that had gone viral after being posted online, taken down. We have often wondered how many of Sir Lewis's side of the garage attended this event, and we would welcome any information in this respect. In light of recent developments, we are particularly keen to know if Bono attended or not. So, if anyone has any information to share in this respect, please do so in the comment section. It is therefore ironic that Toto and Mercedes, who had no problems back in Abu Dhabi 2021, after Sir Lewis was unjustly denied a record-breaking 8th title, partying like they were recreating a video for Prince's 1999 single, could not bring themselves round to celebrate with him when he justly received the victory that he had been unjustly denied when George was justly disqualified. Why did the spirit of Abu Dhabi 2021 not prevail at Spa 2024? Now think about that for a minute. Sir Lewis did nothing wrong but win a race that he had led comfortably from the start, after swiftly dispatching the drivers ahead of him. A race that he would have won if his team had not sabotaged him for the benefit of his teammate, by calling him in for a second stop, even though he had suggested staying out, and the team knew that George, who had pitted before him, was not going to stop again. Yes, you heard that right. Sir Lewis, who pitted after George the first time around, and therefore had fresher tyres, was made to come in for a second stop, when the team knew that George, who had pitted earlier, would be going to the end. So, the team in effect gave George a 19-second pit stop advantage. Sir Lewis's performance had earned him the driver of the day, from a public vote that ended during the closing stages of the race. This meant that the voters, like almost everybody else, apart from those Mercedes staff who were in on the sabotage, expected George to stop for a second time. Sir Lewis, who was returning to winning ways after the travails of Abu Dhabi, and had just ended the longest barren spell ever in his career, went on to victory at Belgium. This meant that over the last 5 Grand Prix, he had outperformed everyone by winning twice and finishing on the podium 4 times. The records that Sir Lewis extended at Belgium included but are not limited to: most podiums at Spa, 11. Most podiums overall, 201. Most victories overall, 106. If you know of any others, then you know what to do. Despite all this success, Mercedes could not bring themselves to celebrate with Sir Lewis, because they were collectively upset about George's rightful disqualification. What irony! Where was that sense of where we go one, we go all, back in Abu Dhabi? But, in a shocking set of developments that clearly reflect Toto and Mercedes's mindset towards Sir Lewis, they followed up the collective failure to acknowledge his accomplishments at Belgium by ghosting them on the Mercedes homepage. As most of our regulars may recall, we monitor the Mercedes homepage. We are therefore aware of how they have been covering their race victories. Their standard practice was to decorate their homepage with images of the race winner, including a headline banner image of the winner and a group photo. They also provide a race debrief glorifying the winner's exploits. When George won in Austria, he was rightly a headline feature. The fact that George's headline banner was kept on the homepage for 8 days and until the morning after Sir Lewis's epic Silverstone win speaks volumes about the Mercedes mindset towards the Ferrari-bound GOAT. But after the Belgian GP, Toto and Mercedes went Strat 500. One would be forgiven for thinking that they were disputing the steward's ruling and would be going all the way to the highest court, fully assured that it would be overturned. You know, like they did, or gave the impression that they would be doing in Abu Dhabi. But alas no, they accepted the ruling. Well then, after accepting the ruling, you would have thought that Toto would have concluded that both drivers deserved to win, you know, like he did in Abu Dhabi with Crashtappen, within minutes of the conclusion of the race, and before dropping their appeal. But alas, no, we have been unable to find any messages congratulating Sir Lewis on his numerous achievements at the Belgian GP, on the Mercedes website. The practice of festooning their homepage with glowing tributes to the race winner appears to have been cancelled or paused. Instead, they put up an image of Sir Lewis's car driving through the pit lane, at the end of the race, when he was still officially second. You would have to know the difference in the color of the helmet of the teammates to know that it was Sir Lewis. In a few hours, that image was taken down and replaced with one of George, which remains in place at the time of publication. So, there are no images showing Sir Lewis's face as had been the standard practice. There are no group photos commemorating his victory as had been the standard practice. There are no post-race articles or videos acknowledging or recalling how this record-breaking victory was achieved, as had been the standard practice. What we do have, contrary to tradition, was an unabashed attempt to gaslight George's disqualification. So, despite accepting the blame for the disqualification of the tyre whisperer, who turned out not to be, Mercedes produced a debrief of the race, asserting that they were unsure what caused them to breach the rules. To appreciate how terrible the Acadis race debrief was, we recommend that you check it out for yourself by clicking on the link to the YouTube video from their website, so that you can read the comments for yourself. We used this Acadis debrief video as the backdrop to our last video, so you can also check it out there, so we won't be repeating it here. But the long and short of it is that post-Belgium, Mercedes have ensured that their website is shorn of any images of Sir Lewis as the winner of the race, or any account of the brilliant drive that he produced to not only win the race, but to also be declared the driver of the day. Instead, their focus was on gaslighting George's disqualification, by embarking on a concerted campaign of disinformation, to put out the false narrative that there was some mystery about how the tyre whisperer and the esteemed team strategists misjudged the consequences of overextending his tyres. If the team have been unable to work out what everybody else, but at Dolph Lundgren, or at Johan 3182 know, then what hope is there for the future? If only Mercedes had put 1/100th of the effort that they have put into gaslighting Georgia's uncontested disqualification, into defending Sir Lewis's outrageous robbery in Abu Dhabi. One would have thought that Toto and Mercedes would be acutely aware of the reputational damage that will come from embarking on such a path. Forza Ferrari.